So welcome back again. 2040C, we are going to talk about union find. And today we are going to fill up one missing topic we didn't do is the range search. It's about the tree. But before that, there's some announcement, okay? This is the QR code for the poll everywhere. And tomorrow, what happened? Quiz 2, okay? Remember that. Remember tomorrow is a quiz 2. Please read the email in details, what to do. Sometimes there's something that you may forget. For example, a lot of our colleagues always complain about students. Hey, told you guys already what to do, but never do, okay? But I also understand because you guys have a lot of different courses. Different courses may have different rules. That course require open book, this course require closed book, this course bring one cheat sheet, that one is, that one you can do soft mark, whatever. This one is exemplified, okay, I understand, okay? So I just remind you, please do not mind me to be too redundant. Remember to bring 2 B pencils for your shadings, for your options. And also, we only allow 1 A4 size, double-sided cheat sheets. And we don't allow you to bring any other open book materials, okay? So that is the most important. Please read through the rest. The scope is including heaps. I think I may not want to throw in any BSP, the binary space partition. Okay, so you can leave out that, but the heap, including what we are going to do today, what did we do today for the tutorials, is included. Okay, yeah. Remember very, very clearly, the venue will be LT11, not here. Okay, remember to tell your friends or those people who are absent, do not come, or not here. I mean, not LT17 or 16, whatever. Okay. LT11 because the hall is bigger, okay? Tomorrow go to LT11, don't go to the original hall. Okay, so that is the quiz tomorrow. Let's start. Explain the scope. Oh, just anything including heap sorts, okay? Because today in your tutorial we'll reiterate it. So that is included. Okay, so that is what I meant. So, but I won't include BSP, the binary space partitioning. I don't mean I don't include BST, okay? BST is definitely included. BSP, the binary space partitioning, is not included. Okay? BSP is not P, partitioning is not included. That means last Thursday topic is not included, but including today's heap in the tutorial, okay? Because if I say a timeline, okay, include everything until last week, then this week, today, we do heap sort and heap iteration in tutorial, then how, okay? So heap is included. So that is the differentiation. BSP is in the video game 1. Yeah, you also only remember video game 1. It's not included in quiz 2, okay? It doesn't mean it's not included in the final or later on. Yeah, that's I think this is the answer already, right? BSP is not tested in quiz 2. Okay, this is a big question, not accurate question, because BSP will be tested, but in your finals. Can you explain? Okay, I hope it's okay. Okay, if you're still not clear, let me know. Okay, so today we'll talk about 2 topics. One is called disjoint sets, or we call union find. This topic is actually extremely simple. The algorithm is extremely simple, but we don't know why every year students find this topic the most untangible, unable to understand. Okay, so I try to explain it again. If you don't feel like you really totally grasp the idea of this, don't worry. Next tutorial, we will go extensively again on this topic. So next tutorial, next week, our tutorial will almost go half. It's almost like a lecture, talk about this disjoint set again, okay? So this from experience. And we also will talk about range search in the second half. Range search is probably 15 minutes or half an hour to cover up what we didn't go through, okay? Okay, range search is not in the quiz tomorrow, okay? Yeah. Okay, let's start. This John said, so what do we do, okay? Let me ask you a question. Can I go to San Francisco from Singapore? Usually you say yes, right? But let me change my question. Can you walk to San Francisco from Singapore? Well, it depends on walking, okay? You can walk up to the plane and fly there, okay? But I mean, purely walking. So it's a question, okay? Maybe we can, I don't know the answer. Can we walk through Alaska or North Pole to walk to San Francisco? I don't know. But today our focus is, are two things connected? The other question is, do you think we have some common relatives? Okay, because friends is easy, right? I probably know some student, you know some prof, we know each other. Are we connected biologically? That means some of my aunts is your other aunts, cousins, whatever. How do we know? Me may be a bit different because I migrate from Hong Kong to Singapore. But you guys, maybe in, let's say, Singaporean or in the same country, maybe you have some relative connected. You don't know. How do we find that? Okay, so today's focus is on asking you if you have some connections do connected. But one thing I want to emphasize that is, I don't care how do you connect it. I just want to ask, are you connected? Do you know what's the difference? I just want to know, are you connected? I don't care, oh, you know A knows B, B knows C, C knows D, that's why you do know each other. I don't care. I only want to care, are you connected? Are you knowing each other, okay? So what are the, for example, I don't want to bring back the bad memories, but remember that in Singapore that time, we have this very serious contact tracing. What was that? We all have the dongle, right? The what, trace together thing, right? When someone got COVID, what happened? Anything contacted him has to be alert or quarantine. So how do you know who contacted who in a big connection of relational graph? Okay. I remember there was this very fun website before, but I don't think it's still on. Yeah, longer alive. Yeah. So before that, there was very first beginning. People keep track of every single people have COVID, and they form a graph. So you don't know if you are here or whatsoever. That maybe, let's say this guy somewhere of this have COVID, the whole cluster of people need to be alert or quarantined. Remember the time? But if you are not contacted in any way or any of your friends connected, you're out of that, okay? The other way, if this one, sometimes I create a maze game, or let's say you have an open RPG world game, can I make sure you can go to somewhere or you cannot go to somewhere? Sometimes the RPG game will limit you. I don't know whether you played this before, right? For example, at first in your RPG open world game, you can only travel a land. So the RPG game will give the storyline, you can do anything you want, but limited by the land. That was what I played RPG, that was Final Fantasy VII. That's how they do it. First, you can travel through all the land. And then later, you can travel across the sea. And there's a part of the land or the game space you can go. And then finally you got a spaceship or whatever, you can go somewhere else. So how do you know if two places you can connect? Let's say you are the game designer. And it's not a new thing. Sometimes some players discover some bugs. That means originally the game design, you cannot go somewhere, but some player discover a way to go somewhere. Anyone played that game called Elden Ring before? Anyone heard of that? Elden Ring has a lot of bugs. So you can somehow travel somewhere with the bugs. Yeah, so it's famous for that. Yeah, so somebody in Elden Ring can beat the game within half an hour because he finds some bug to jump through space or whatever. So how do I know your game, the lands are connected or not connected? So in the process of creating a maze, I want to know every position and every position is connected or not. However, if you remember our data structure after sorting, we need to have a new thing called the data structure need to be dynamic. What does that mean? I can easily construct a pre-processed data structure to know that which two space in the maze is connected. What if you are doing something like Minecraft? You can change the maze. After you change the maze, for example, before that, let's say this is not an accurate position, okay? Yeah, someone opened the door, then it's connected. Yeah, thank you for helping me to demonstrate. Exactly, yeah. So for example, let's say imagine this is a maze. Originally, the different color position A, B, C, D, E, they are not connected, okay? But suddenly someone opened the door. Okay, so or someone break the wall. So at first, I know that region A cannot go to region C, region B cannot go to region F, okay? They are separated. But somehow, someone can break the wall, like just now. So B and F were not connected, and now B and F are connected. Then I have a new queries. If I test two places here, they're connected. Do you understand? Okay, so I have this ability, can dynamically change the data structure also. So how do we maintain this data structure? For example, let's say I have a very simple maze. The very simple maze at the very beginning is 9 isolated cells. No fun, right? If you are placed in the position A, you're being closed in A. Is it okay? Each A, B, C, D, E is one closed cell. It's a very boring maze. You go into one cell, you cannot go anywhere. But it's like Minecraft. I can test or destroy wall. For example, I can say I have ability to connect the cell E to F by destroying the wall between them. Okay? And then this called union. Union means I want to bring them together. I can say, oh, how do I connect G to I? Maybe your maze really have this ability. You can dig a tunnel beneath the floor to go through there. Okay? So I and G are connected. D and E are connected. Did you notice that I connect E to F, right? And then I connect D to E. What happened to D to F now? They are now connected. Okay, in my data structure, I need to know that. I only tell you I connect E and F. I only connect D to E. But if you ask me now if D and F are connected, I need to tell you yes. So continue. I connect B to A. I ask if G and D are connected. So this data structure we are doing today basically only have two operations. One is union. I can union two of the items anytime I want. The other one is this operation. I want to ask is G and D are connected. Can I go from G to D? At this moment cannot, right? I can go G to I, but I cannot go to D. Okay, continue. Let's say I connect D to F. Doesn't matter, right? D and F is already connected. I got a B. Oh, so I asked if, sorry, it's not connected to F, sorry. I asked if D and F are connected, and I need to return true because D and F are actually connected through E. I can go to D, go to E, go to F. And I now connect B to C, and now I connect H to E. And now I connect A to C, I connect F to I. And finally, now I ask the same question. Is G and D connected now? Yes, right? G and D are now connected because after I connect F and I, this one, now G and D are connected. Is it okay? Two operations. One is I will connect any two nodes. One is I can ask if two nodes are connected. I don't care how many hopes do you have. This is different from the later pathfinding for our graph algorithms, but this is very simple, okay? So this structure is not only for maze, It can be anything. For example, you can think that, oh, A, B, C, D, E are actually people. Each A, B, C, D are one person. One of the link represent you know each other, or actually you are friends of who on the Facebook. Yeah, or Twitter. I mean, now you guys don't use Facebook, right? Twitter, no, not Twitter. Now it's X, or whatever. Okay, so you connected, or is any different type of connection? Maybe A, B, C, D, E are the airport. A can fly to B, B can fly to C, or ports. Okay, so you can actually see from here. This is useful data structure. You can anyhow curious if one place can go to another. So first, remember the transitivity, the transitive relationship. It means if P is connected to Q, Q is connected to R, then P and Q are connected. Okay, this is a transitive relationship. Connected component is, for example, what is the maximally set of mutually connected objects? For example, this one, there are 3 connected objects. Can you see that? The one component is ABC. They connect to each other. One component is EDFH. They also connect to each other. And then G and I are another component. They connect to each other, okay? So there are 3 components. When we talk about connected components, it's those clusters they can go to each other. And why is this data structure called disjoint set? Because each of the connected component, I represent them as a set. For example, the first connected components of ABC is the set of ABC. The second one is the set of DFGH. So this is 3 connected components in 3 sets. And that's why when I do union, let's say now I want to do union GH, I'm actually unioning, I don't know whether I can do that. Union, can use a word. I union the 2 set together, become 1 set. That's why this data structure is called union find. Union is combining 2 sets. Find is asking if 2 elements are in the same set. So very simple. ADT, extremely simple, okay? So I have, first, interestingly, you can see the constructor. I will create n items. That means I will assume in my data set, there will be n sets, or n people, or n sites, or n airports. But when you create it, I will assume every node is isolated in the first place. Okay, heard of the what is it, idiom? Every man is not an island, or every man is an island, okay? So, but now every man is an island. Everyone don't know each other. Everyone is not connected. So you can do 2 operations. One is find. I ask if the key P and key Q, that means these 2 items are connected or not. The other is union. I merge them together. How? We have a lot of different trials today. We have this called quick find, quick union, but they're not the best. I will talk about how to optimize them, and finally, you find it very fast. First, the simple thing to do is I can label all the common components with 1 letter. For example, the objects are 0 to 8. Now I have 9 objects. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can code the first component that is connected on the 0 and 4, 6 is component A. The second is component B, and the 3 and 8 are component C, right? The very simple thing I can do is, on this object list, I just tell object 0 is component A, object 1 is component B, and so on. I just need to label it for each component. Very simple. And this is called quick find. Okay, why is it quick find? Because if I now ask you, is the object 1 and object 6 are the same component, what do you do? Very simple, right? Object 1 is component B. Object 6 is component A, so they are not in the same, right? Very simple. So when you do find operation, this is super simple and trivial and fast. What is the complexity? Just take of it. However, let's move it a bit forward. I don't really want to create a component name because creating a component name is not good. Instead, I use any of the item in the set as the component ID. Just change name, okay? So for example, if today you are doing basketball team, okay? Different people have different team. Originally, you have said, oh, this team is called Tiger, that team is called Lion, that team is called whatever, Dragon, okay? This is what I give a name, right? ABC. But instead of that, oh, let's say don't do very troublesome stuff. You change the team name to this team is led by David Beckham, okay? The team is called David Beckham. The other one is Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan is in the team. So I just use his name to be the team, okay? So nothing very fancy. I just use one of the member of the team to be the component representing identity only, okay? So nothing fancy. But wait a minute. For this one, finding is super simple. I just need to check if their component ID are the same. But how about union? How do I union them? For union, you know what do you need to do? I need to check the whole set from 0 to 8 who are in that component and update it. Is it okay? You know what I mean? Let's say now if I want to union this one, 1, 4 is component 1, 3 is component 3. I need to update them to union together. I have to change 3 as component 1 because they're in the same component, right? But if I union 2 and 3, what do I need to change? I need to change all the component of 1, 3, 4 to 2. But wait a minute. If I need to change them all to 2, go back, before union, how do I know which items is in component 1? There's only one way to know. You have to search for the whole 0 to 8 component to find out whatever it is, who are actually with component 1. There's no other way yet. So this union, you need to loop through the whole length to get all the people to change their union, okay? So I don't know, maybe politics. 1, 3, 4 support candidate 1, 2 support candidate 2. Now after election, you have to support the whole things. So everyone had to change, or everybody support, everybody have to support candidate 2. I need to dig out in the whole population who supported candidate 1 and change it to candidate 2. And if you actually look at this component ID, you can actually look at it as a tree. So the component ID is actually the parent. Is it okay? I just draw it like a tree. That means if your 1, 2, 3, 4 are component 2, I will say it's because 1 is component 2, I will make 2 as 1's parent. So what you can do is think of this component ID is actually the parent of the tree, okay? That's it. It's a very fast tree. Think of it this way, okay? No need to really construct data structure or pointers. Think of this way. But you say, what? How about 2? If you are the root, you are your own parent. Okay, so that's it. So for example, if I do this, if I union 7 and 8, the tree will be like that. If I union 7 and 8 to these 2, that means if I union this one and this one, I have to put all the 7 and 8 to have a parent of 2. Okay? So that is how union in a graphical form looks like. What do you think the running time will be for this current setting? Find and union. Okay? Let's have a little survey. Who think is 1? 01 and 01. Well, then we are done already. We can go already. Who think is 2? So find is 01, right? That's correct. And then union is ON because it goes through everything. Okay, so the correct answer is 2. Okay, good job. But ON union not good, right? I need a union a lot. So, because find is only constant time access, union you have to find all the components within all the things to get union. That's why it's ON. Too bad. Let's try another way. We do it something called quick union. Okay. So just now, I know that some of you may not be very alert about the names. Just now, the method and the data structure we use is called quick find. And now we are going to do quick union. What does it mean? If they are like that, when I want to union them, it's like a tree. I just need to get their own two parents, okay? First of all, let's say if I want to union 4 and 1, okay? 4 already have a set of 4, 6, 0. 1 already have a set of 1, 2, 7, 8. I want to union them, what do I do? It's a bit like the tree. Remember the heaps? First, I find their root. Their root is 6 and 7. And then how do I union them? This quick find, okay, quick find. And then I find their parents, and what I do is, 4 and 1, I find their parents, and I put the 6 of the parent is 7. I directly do that. Okay? So it is not a flat tree just like last time. Go back to last time. Last time this one is a flat tree. That means every tree only have a height of 1, no matter how you do it. Okay, because every node will directly know who is your root. But now what I relax the scenario is I can have not flat tree. When I union two of them, I will find their root, which is 6 and 7, and connect them together and become like that. This is the new union way. I don't need to get everyone flat. Of course, if you go back to find, then how do I find? Find is very simple. For every node P or Q, I will try to find the most parents of P, the most highest parent of Q. For example, 4 and 1, 4 the parent is 6. 1 the parent is 2, 2 the parent is 7. So that's why, finally, the component representative for 4 is 6. 1 is 7, so they are not in the same union, okay? Because they don't have the same parent. So this quick union. Do you think we did improvement? For example, this union, do you think it's better? I don't need to update every node. I just need to put the tree together. Because, for example, 7, the tree of 7 will go down to 6, right? I don't need to update 1 to 8. 1 to 8, the parents are still the same as it was. Do you think this data structure is faster? So let's try. For example, this is all the component at the beginning. Everyone is an island. I union 3, 4. Then I union 4, 9. Then I union 8, 0. Then I union 2 and 3. 2 is here, 3 is here. So 2 and 3. Then I union 5 and 6. Then I continue, okay? I union 5 and 9. So 5 is on this side. 9 is also become like that. And I union 7 and 3. So 7 is here. Then I union 4 and 8. 4 is on the right big tree. 8 is on the left small tree. And finally, I union 6 and 1. I union everything and become a tree like that. Okay? And finally, this is the quick union algorithms. What do you think currently the find and union time complexity are? Anyone will answer 1? No. Anyone will answer 2? Is the finding 01? How about 3? 1. The union, is it constant time? Okay, let's plug in constant time, right? But how do you find the root? you still climb to the root from the bottom. And then that was the big question. What will be the height of the tree? Is there any constraint for the height of the tree? So that would decide whether your answer is 4 or 5. Anyone will say the height of the tree is n, so the answer is 4. Anyone will say the height of the tree is log n, then it's 5. Sadly, easily you can create a tree like linked list. So the height of the tree can be On, and the answer is actually On. We are not doing better. Actually, we pull our own legs. This method actually make it worse. But why do we want to introduce this? Because actually we can base on this method and do it better. Okay? This union find because on the union side, you have to go and find the parent, and on the find side, and this is the summary so far. We introduced 2 algorithms. One is quick find, which is O1 and On. Quick union is even worse, On and On. But why do we get this detour to get to quick union? Is because that is a very smart improvement we can do in quick union to optimize it. That is the optimization, okay? For example, let's stick to the quick union. Which tree should you do to make the parents actually? What does that mean? Now I have 2 trees. I want to union these 2 trees. I have 2 choices. One is make 6 the subordinate of 7. One is make 7 the subordinate of 6, right? It's okay, right? Both of them successfully do a union. Which one looks better? Will you choose left or right? Will you choose the purple or the brown? Who will choose purple? Who will choose brown? Why? Why you choose purple? It looks nice, but why? Huh? Smaller heights, right? Is it really smaller heights? How do I achieve? And why do you choose brown? Or what did you choose purple in the first beginning? This is height 2, this is height 3. And what happened is, I want to actually judge it by the weight. I'm not judging it by the height. Why I don't judge it by the height? Because height is hard to calculate. Okay? Later we'll talk about that. Height is hard to calculate, but let's judge it by the weight. What do I mean? The weight means for this one, I choose the tree with heavier weight, which means, on a layman term, I choose the tree with more nodes as the parent. Is it understandable? So which tree has fewer nodes? The 6th tree, right? So 6th tree, you you don't have enough people be my subordinate, okay? So if you have fewer nodes, you do not have the right to be the root. You will be by subordinate. So what this weighted union means, I will actually still find the 2 parents, but I want to check what is the size of P and Q. If P is bigger, then Q's parent is P. Is it okay? P is bigger. A bit like mafia war, you know. 2 mafia gangs, they fight, right? The mafia gang have more people, will become the head. Okay, so it's too bad your mafia gang have lesser people, you have to call them parents. Okay, so that is how we do, or vice versa. And now, for example, now I union 1 to 4. Which one should go under who? The tree of 6 should go under 7, right? Because the tree of 6 only have 3 nodes. The tree of 7 have 4 nodes. So I should get 6 underneath. Will it change our tree? Let me repeat the same union operation of just now, my demonstration, okay? But I use weighted union. I union 3 and 4, but 3 and 4, they're the same. Doesn't matter who goes to who, right? And then a union 4 to 9. Do you see the difference? 9 will go under 4 because 9 only have one person. 4 have two persons. A union 8 and 0, and a union 2 to 3. 2 only have one person. Please go quite underneath, okay? And now a union 5 to 6. Okay, starting from here, a union 5 to 9. Where is 5 to 9? 5 is this one, two persons. 4, 9 is this one, so that's why 6 go under 4. And a union 7 to 3, 7 is here, so 7 have to go under 4 because 4 is a very big game mafia. And now a union, this one still 8 here, under 4, and so on. Do you see the tree is a lot more flat? And now you compare this tree with just now the one with the weighted union. This one is before. This one is before weighted union. And this one is weighted union. Okay, you can see the tree, just a very small tweak. You can make the tree a lot more flat. But wait a minute, is it always true? It looks true, but is it always true? And of course, now, usually this is an easy question, right? What do you think the maximum depth of this weighted union tree will be? Just a wild guess, okay? I don't think you will say constant, right? Anything we'll say is log n. Most of you got it right. It's log n, okay? Why? Here is the most difficult part. How do we prove it? But don't worry, if I want to prove the tree height is log n, does it sound familiar to you? Do you remember we did that before? In the AVL tree, we did that before. We want to prove after our height balancing, we can guarantee the height is less than 2 log n. But today we'll do something similar because if you remember the AVL tree, actually we didn't prove this. We proved a parallel one. Do you remember that? Instead of saying that if you have n node, your height is less than log n, I will do the opposite. I will say if my height is h, my node is less than 2 to the power h. They're the same. Okay, so what we want to prove is, can we prove that if my tree height is k, I will at least have 2 to the power n nodes? Now, let's start. The goal is I want to prove that after weighted union, my tree has k height will have at least n node, which is 2 to the power k nodes. That was what I want to prove. Okay? If I prove it right, that means my tree height of n node is log n, because k is the height of the tree. Before that, induction, base case, right? If you have only one node, your height is 0, then it's true, okay? Base case is true. And how do we do induction? We assume that the case for k minus 1 is correct. Basic induction, right? Because basic induction means if I have a height k, I will imply my tree has at least 2 to power k minus 1 nodes. What is this broken line? This broken line is before the time I will have any tree that is height k yet, okay? Now our world, all the tree has k minus 1 height or less. What is the next step? The goal is to prove if ever there's a tree with height k, this is still correct. What do you mean by still correct? What we want to prove, right? The number of nodes has to be more than 2 to the power k. If all the trees has height k minus 1 and below, we only want to care when does the first tree of height k happen. Let's consider that scenario. Is it okay? All the trees are k minus 1 height or less. And when you merge, somehow one tree will become k. I want to ask at that moment, will that tree satisfy our condition? Because if it does, every tree afterwards, because you just increase the size of the tree, every tree afterwards will still follow the rules. So I just need to know at the first moment, a tree become height k at the first time, what is the number of nodes? So if the first tree height k have at least k to the power k nodes, all the other trees following on with height k will be also the same. And now I want to merge. So this broken line means what is the world of height k afterwards? First of all, as we said, we assume all the tree heights now is less than k. That means k and minus 1 and below. So the induction proof is all the trees. If I want to build a new tree of height k, I need to have at least one tree with height k minus 1. Does it make sense? Because every time you merge a tree, you can only increase by one only. If I want to achieve a height k tree, one of the tree I'm merging must be k minus 1. If I have two trees of k minus 2, no matter how I merge, I cannot give a tree of k. I can at most get a k plus 1, okay? So one of the tree has at least k minus k minus 1. Let's call it T1. This is the first tree. The first tree is participating in merging. And I know that from my assumption, any tree with k minus 1 or less will have at least 2 to the power k minus 1 nodes. Okay? So now I have tree 1. Tree 1 is exactly k minus 1 height. And T1, this tree, according to our assumption, no brainers, okay? This is just an assumption. This tree has more than 2 to the power k minus 1. So far, no logical deduction yet. What is T2? The other tree is merging. Only two options. Either this T2 has more nodes than T1 or less than T1. Is it okay? Very simple, right? T1 has so many nodes. You either T2 will be more nodes or less nodes. Let's talk about the first case. First case is if I assume T2 has more nodes than, so I assume T1 have X node, T1 has X node, T2 have more than X nodes. What will happen? Who is whose parent? It's T2, right? Who is whose parent? T2 will be the parent, right? So when I merge them, then okay, so far okay, T2 is the parent because there are more nodes. What is the height now? Actually, it doesn't matter. The height now can be k minus 1 or k. It depends on what is the height of T2. But actually, no. The height must be k. It cannot be less than that. Why? Because T1 has height k minus 1. And T1 becomes the subordinate of T2. The height must be increased by 1. So the height is equal to k now. We grow the tree. Height is equal to k. But how many nodes are there now? Very easy. How many nodes? T1 already have this node. We assume that, right? Because from assumption. How about T2? T2 has more nodes than that. What does that mean? That means T1 have 2 to the power k minus 1 node. T2 also at least have 2 to the power k plus minus 1 nodes. When they merge together, how many nodes are there? Easy question. When they merge together, 2 to the power k minus 1 times plus 2 to the power k minus 1 is what? 2 to the power k log. So after they merge, the tree must have at least 2 to the power k nodes. So what does that tell you? This one is done. Okay? If the other trees have more nodes after you merge, Even you grow the tree size to k, it's proved to be more than 2 to the power k nodes. How about case 2? Case 2 is when T2 have less node. Okay? And here I need to divide into 2 cases more. Okay, T2. What is the height of T2? We only know that the T2, the height is less than or equal to him, n minus 1. Let's go for the easy case first, A. So because this T2 has to go under K1, right? Because T2 have less node. What can the heights be? I mean the final tree. It depends on the height of T2. Why? If the height of T2 is less than K minus 1, which means shorter than T1, will the height increase? No, right? Because T1 is, the height is K minus 1. T2, the height is K minus 2 or below. Even you merge together, it's still K minus 1. Then of course, by assumption, the node is still the same, right? So it didn't actually increase to height K. And even though you make it even better, you have a height K minus 1, but you have more nodes. So this one have no problem. Case B. Okay, now case 1 is any height less than K minus 1. What is the leftover? The leftover, the last case B is, what if T2 has exactly height K minus 1? When T2 is height K minus 1, it's actually case 1. Right? Case 1, what does that mean? When this one go to here, you have a height K. How many nodes are there now? It looks very complicated, but also very simple. First, T1, by the assumption, have this many nodes. How about T2? Very simple. T2 have this height. That also implies it have at least this node. And the logic follows. And when you combine this together, although the height become K, and now you have 2 trees of each tree have at least node 2 to the power K minus 1. That means after merging, your tree has to be at least 2 to the power K. QED, okay? So the final tree has K, at least 2 to the power K. And we're done. So what did we prove? We proved that if you have a tree of height K, no matter what, after this weighted union, your final tree, whatever it is, will have at least 2 to the power K number of nodes. And the reverse is, if 2 to the power K is equal to your height, then your tree height is log n. That is the same argument as the AVL tree, okay? Good. Then answer me quickly, what is this? The running time of the find and union will be dependent on the height is log n, okay? Very simple. So this is a weighted union. What I mean is I do the same quick union way, but I do it weighted. That means wherever I union them, I see which one is bigger. The bigger one will become the root. Okay, so finally we reach here. Quick find is 1 and n. Quick union is O n and O n. And finally, quick union is O log n and O log n. And we do better. We push to the limit, okay? How do you do better? How can we do improvement? The improvement we are going to do is very un-Singapore. Singapore, everyone queue up nicely. But what we want to do is cut queue. Let's do cut queue, okay? Anyone enjoying cut queue? What do you mean by cut queue? How do you cut queue? Let's say if you are lining up for a very famous Char Kway Teow or movie or whatever, how do you cut queue? You walk up to the ticket or whatever, I ask for the food, right? Can we do that? This new method, cut queue, is having a good name. We don't call it cut queue. We call it path compression. What does that mean? For example, now if I want to find 11, okay? I don't care. I want to find what is the component representative of 11. I need to walk from 11 to 7, right? I need to walk through the node of 6, 1, 2, and 7. It's okay? No problem, right? And then I will report, oh, my representative is 7. And before I leave, I do one more thing. Hey, come on, 11, 6, 1, 2, 7. Okay, queue. Can you do that? It's very simple. After you walk from 11 to 7, you know who are the parents or ancestors you walk with. After you know that 7, you just tell everybody, hey, you know your big boss is 7. So you tell 6, hey, your parent is not 1. You just follow 7. You promote it. All I need to do is I change their parents. Okay? So this is the originally fine route. If you have a route, I need to loop through the route to this parent until the route is equal to self because it's the route. But now when I do path compression, I do it again. Do you see that? So this one is after I find the route, I return. But now I add a path. I start from P again, go through the route again. But when I go through the route, I tell everyone, hey, come on, who is your real parents? Go to that. Okay, so this actually will do this. Whenever you travel through the list, all the nodes you have traveled on the path to the parents, you change the parent directly to the root. Okay, so this is called path compression. And of course, there's an alternative one, which you don't need to go twice, because this one you need to do twice, which is not bad. But this one is just point to your grandparents, okay? This is a semi-path compression. I'm not going too deep into it. I'm just giving you another alternative. This one not important, okay? And how fast can it be? This one is easy. The running time after M union and find operation is this, M plus M alpha Mn time. What is this alpha? Alpha is called inverse Ackermann function. And I think in my course of 2040C, I only need you to know the name. Okay? But first of all, what is this function? This function increases extremely slow. For example, if your n is 4, let's say it's inverse Ackermann function, n is 4, this is equal to 0, n is 8 equal to 1, unless you go to 2 to the power 65k, the alpha function is 4. So it's almost 0. But it's not 0, it's almost 0. Okay? How do we prove this? The proof is miracle happens. This one, I really get it from a comic books, okay? This one. I really get it from a comic book that talk about complexity and math and so on, okay? The proof is very tedious, so I will let you go, okay? The proof is extremely tedious, but you just need to know what is the function. The function is, if you after M unions and N objects, your total time complexity is On plus M times the Ackermann. And alpha Ackermann is almost 0, so you can actually ignore that. And after M union and N operation is On, that means you can do amortizing. Then it's like almost constant time, okay? The proof is very difficult, but the algorithm is very simple to implement. There was one PE, okay? One PE did that. Yeah. Okay, one PE do that. Only one. Yeah. So can we even do better? I don't think we can even do it to the total linear time, okay? So finally, this is all we have. The path compression, I don't know how complicated you think about the cut queue, but it improves a lot, okay? And finally, We talk about how to union, how to find, but actually there are scholars until like recent 10 years talk about how to split. That is more complicated. I just show you the result, okay? And what are the applications? Okay, come back to that. Of course, we talk about the maze. Actually, the other one is the games. Games you're thinking about just now, the example is where physically one place you go to another. I don't know whether anyone played those puzzle game before. Puzzle game is like, anyone heard of the games called Monkey Island? No. Anyone played that before? Yes. You know how you play, right? Did you enjoy the game? Monkey Island is a game of puzzle solving. It's no action. You don't need to get a gun and shoot people. But it's like you're setting in. It's a bit like, the other comparison game is like those secret room escape. Anyone played that before? Secret room escape, you played that before, right? You need to do and go this chair, move it around, and then open this 3 times, and then whatever, right? Those are secret room, right? But Monkey Island, think of it, is a more complicated one. You need to go through the game to do all this stuff in the game to solve a puzzle and whatever. But I tell you, it's an extremely fun game when I was young, okay? But what I try to say is, the secret room run or the Monkey Island is after you do something, actually you change the game state. Each game state is a note. Can you finally solve it? Or will you be able to go to some state, you're stuck there and forever cannot solve? If your game is very complicated, you may, okay? Network, very easy. You want to test if your network is connected, okay? What if some of the cable believe the C got cut out or power outage in some city? Do you think you can still connect to each other? Okay, this is called least common ancestor. What it means is if you put it in a tree, so it's another way. Can you find the least common ancestor? Let's don't talk about religions. Okay, let's assume the Christian Bible is right. We are all from Adam. Let's just don't sue me for that. Okay, I can sense the hatred now. Okay, let's walk. Okay, but then that means we all come from the same tree. How do we find out our most common ancestor? We are from the whole family tree, right? We will have some common ancestor, but we probably won't trace up all to Adams. Maybe somewhere in the year 1023, whatever, we have a common ancestor somewhere. How do we trace the common ancestor on the tree structure? Okay. Yeah, and other things, okay? But one thing I want to talk about is my PhD thesis, okay? Molecules. What does it deal with common ancestor? Molecules, in my research, we are talking about the topology. Do you know what is topology? Yeah, topology is what you say to bluff people that you are very profound. Let me show you what is topology. Ever watched this before? Do you see all this before? Same, this one totally the same. Okay, all this. But why do we mention that? Why can I get a PhD by unstuck? No, it's not because that. Actually, molecules, whatever, are highly topological. Okay, how can I?
For example, this
DNAs
realistically
are big strands.
molecules
You talk about the topology, how it connect, how it twist, how it whatsoever. Is it a host?
DNA with covalently linked ends.
Yeah.
Right. Regardless
So how does it
of
curl together and so on? This is a topology. Okay, at that time, we are doing this on finding this DNA. This is not a DNA, this is an enzyme. This is the enzyme. How do we find the tunnels? This is an enzyme, very interesting. This is enzyme here. This is the side view of this. You can see that if you see from here, the enzyme has a tunnel. So the interesting chemicals can go through the tunnel and do catalytic action and whatsoever, okay? So in a lot of biomolecules, if you can find all these pocket, tunnels, whatever, is a way to geometrically how to understand. So at that time, ever heard of the terms bioinformatics? It's talking about how to use computer to analyze our DNA and so on. There are two big main schools. One is whatever your disease, I don't know, your inherited disease, I only need to scan your DNA. I treat the DNA as a very long sequence of string and try to detect that. But the other one is based on geometry and topology. I will actually get your DNA out or enzyme or whatever to see what is the geometric structure and what can it do. Because, for example, do you know why you eat some drugs? Your germs or whatever, not germs, virus will got inactivate or whatever. A lot of time is plug and socket. You know the virus plug into your cell to destroy it, right? But what if you seal the plug? You design a chemical that is look like a socket and seal the virus plug. Then the virus cannot destroy you anymore. That is called drug design, okay? Geometric drug design. That's what we're doing for my PhD, okay? Yeah, okay, so that's the first part. Let's answer some question and continue. I have 3 nodes in a row, then height is 2, but 3 nodes in a row, then you already destroyed the previous assumption. Your assumption is coming from the way I assume that. Okay, so you cannot construct 3 nodes in a row by the weighted union. So that's why you are right. If I have 3 nodes in a row, I can construct it height 3, a height 3 of height 2. But because your tree is not from weighted union, can you construct 3 nodes in a row by weighted union in any way? Because 3 nodes, you must combine 2. 2 nodes is a height 1, and 1 node is height 1. And when you union these 2, the smaller one must go under the tree of height 1. You cannot go the other way. So the trees we produce under the assumption must be under the algorithm of weighted union, okay? So that's why. I think that's how I answer this question. If a tree has height k, implies that tree has at least, no. If tree have a height k, I implies the tree at least have 2 to the power k nodes. Is the proof tested? What do you mean? Oh, you mean yes and no lah. I will ask you a question about that lah. Okay, for example, what is the height of a weighted union? Okay, but I won't say, oh, please prove this in the. I don't usually do that because the proof is somehow like that. It's just like you memorize or just lucky that you write the proof in your cheat sheet, right? There's no meaning for that, right? Unless I will come up with the algorithm and ask you to do some proof like that. Okay, do you want to do that? I'll give you another algorithm. You prove me like that, okay? Yeah. I thought I left the 1, 2, 3, 1 life. Guess not. Yeah. Yeah. It will be. But on the other hand, this is my true life experience. I also learned all this in my disgusted undergrad. I remember in my undergrad, we teach us about like numerical method, what Lagrange, whatever, and also teach me about set, mappings, whatever, okay? The forgetting rate of that course is even before the final finish. Even before the final of that course finish, I already forgot. I try to forget that during the final exam already, okay? But I want to tell you the story. Actually, if you continue, but I know lah, I understand that not everybody go to grad school. But if you go to grad school, those will haunt you back. But I don't say haunt you back, but it's really useful, okay? Actually, when you go out to work, it's also useful in some way because you will know the structure and you immediately tell why this algorithm is fast and that algorithm is. not fast, okay? Which comic books is it from? From which? Oh, this one. They have one comic series of whatever in comics. There was one like history people in comics, mathematician in comics, whatever that. I remember that there was a series of books like that. You can search for that. So it's like there was one philosopher in comics. So it's like they talk about different philosophers, Kant, Socrates, whatever, but write that in comics. But it's quite quite deep, okay? They talk about all this very deep method. But I forgot which one, yeah. Who is the guy on your lock screen wallpaper? This one? No, it's my private things. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can talk about that when you come down, okay? Yeah, otherwise you sue me. Okay. Okay, let's have a break of 3 minutes. We'll continue on the range search. Don't worry. Oh, you want to continue now? Just finish it. Just finish it. Okay. Huh? This slide is the augmented tree one. Augmented tree. We left in the middle. Okay. Let's just finish it. Okay. Is it okay? Anyone strongly opposed and going to sue me? Okay, good. Make sure I can go out alive. Okay. Yeah. This is easier. Because to be honest, this topic I'm not going to test you forcefully in the algorithm. Yeah. It go back to the AVL tree. Okay. AVL tree or whatever trees. If I give you a balanced binary search tree, can you do range search? We have been doing queries on finding something in the tree. For example, in this tree, do you find 29? In this tree, do you find 100? But what if I want to do range queries? What does that mean? I want to find a range of items in my tree. I give you two bounds, A and B. I want to find every item in the tree between A and B. What do you do? Actually, not that difficult. It's called log n plus k algorithms. What does that mean? Because k is the number of output. I can search for A, the smallest number, right? And then I can do an in-order traversal until B. Does it make sense? Then I list out anything from A to B. It's very trivial. But why is the complexity log n plus k? Because searching is log n. But I don't know how many things you need to output. You may even output the whole tree, okay? So this type of algorithm is called output-sensitive algorithms. But it's not because it's dumb, because you need to, right? I need to list all the things. Then I need to list out everything, right? Okay? But this is one curious. How about I don't need all the items. I just need to know how many items. How do you do it? Huh? Very good. Do I need to do this? Do I need to go through the above method, at least how every item and count? No need. I just need to ask, what is the rank of the last one and what is the rank of the first one? Does it make sense? For example, here, all the students, right? I actually arrange you from ascending order of your marks, okay, or quiz 2. And I want to select a TA or whatever. I want to set what is the range of B. Okay, I want to give B grades to somebody. And I want to ask from marks 20 to 30, how many students? How do you do? I find what is the rank on the 20 student. For example, 20 student is rank 100. I find the rank of 30 mark student. Let's say the rank is 200. Then between is 100 students, right? So I just need to find the rank. And what is the time complexity? Just find the rank is log n, right? So the end. So if you just need the count, you just need log n time. This is called range queries. But recap, if I want to do a linear search on that, every of this range is what we want to search for, right? But how about if I want to do this range search not on one dimension? If I want, actually your data is not on one dimension space. All these data points is on two-dimensional space. I want to find what is in this box. That means I give you an X range, I give you a Y range. I want to find what are the data. You say, why? Why torture us like that? Because this is very popular. Okay? I think I crop out again some of the below one. This kind of search is very popular. For example, I don't know, let's say you go to any website to find things like dating website, okay? Let's say you guys don't need that now, okay? But when you're in my age, you may need it. Yeah, but for example, let's say I want to find some people at the age between 25 to 30. At the same time, I want to find the people at the height between, let's say, 160 to 180. No discrimination. Don't call me. Don't sue me. Okay. No discrimination. But I just get an example. Okay. Don't sue me. You discriminate people under 160. Okay. No like that. Okay. Let's say I want to find that. Or actually, I want to find out these people I don't want to date. Okay. Let's be fair. Okay. So how do I find? Because now the range is not one dimension, but I can still use something similar. Be careful, okay? How do I find this? The way to find it is, first, I build a normal BSP tree on one dimension. Let's say I build a BSP tree on the X dimension. Is it okay? I just use the X coordinate because it's XY coordinate, right? I just use X coordinate. But wait a minute. When I have one node, like when I do 25, right? 25, if you remember, I actually divide the data set into less than 25 and more than 25. Okay? So I will be continuing building the tree on X dimension. Here is the tricks. I will continue to build the X tree. But all this point, I will do something else. I will do the X tree like that. This is X tree. For all these points in this yellow space on that half space, I will do another Y tree. And the Y tree is being stored within the node of 40 as an augmented member. Remember what's augmented member? Augmented tree. Before that, you store the weights, right? Or you store the rank, right? Now I don't only store the weight or the rank. I store a tree. A tree as an augmented member. And this augmented member is all the member in the subtree of 40, but actually the ordering is not by X, it's by Y. That is how I do this range search. Okay, then you can continue to do the range search because you have all the data. You can search in the X subrange, and then you can sum up all the Y subrange. And for every node in X tree, a Y tree will build out within the node. And the time complexity, I will just let you know that the time complexity for this is log square n. That means log n times log n plus k. Okay, I know that. So you need log n time to find the X boundary. That means you can single out all the tree nodes that include the X boundary. But for every node on these two roots from the tree to the tree root to the leaf, every tree you need to find it in the Y direction. And that's why it costs another log n. Okay? And then of course you need to give out all the output, that's k. And the space is n not n now. Why? Because you have to store a lot of tree. Before that, our BSD tree from one dimension is only ON, if you remember. Okay? But now we need ON not n space. Think about it, why? However, all the rotation deletion, we need something new. It may even need ON rotation deletion. So this data structure is not very good for dynamical data structure. But this is a very, very, very important research. Think about it. What if your points are restaurant or something important in our map? You want to find, Google Map you can do, right? In my area, what are the restaurants? Google will not go and find the whole world, what are the restaurants. The Google have to go XY coordinate near you, what are the restaurants? what are the gas stations, or what are the 7-Eleven, or what are the toilets, okay? So they'll find you that how do you do this query quick is exactly this. And of course, you can go to n dimension. If you go to 3D, let's say we have the space queries, or even 4th dimension, 5th dimension, okay? Those you may not understand, or I don't mean you don't understand, I mean, you may not think of any way for application now, but actually there's a lot. How do you do the range query in high dimensional space is the research. But one thing interestingly, because it's my expertise, the queries go from every dimension is -1. So the next dimension 2D is n log n. But then the next dimension is 3 is n log square n and so on. Okay. So it's interesting about dimension. But if you want to go for dimension, is this I don't know anyone know XKCD? It's a very nerdy, romantic. It always makes romance with our nerdy things like computer science, science, research, and so on. Okay, so have a look. It talk about what are the dimensions. If you're interested in dimension, like dimension 1 is a line, dimension 2 is a picture, dimension 3 is like movies, whatever. Okay, so it's dimension 2 plus 1. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Good that we finish it. And any questions? Okay. Just to comment, last week PS33 and today range search is not test. Yeah, not test in a quiz 2. Right, okay? Not test in quiz 2. Is range search for BSD better than heap range search? It depends on how many people you find. Is it 100 or is it also the dynamic keep coming, going, and so on? It depends. I think the heap is still better, okay? Okay, so this one I think I understand, right? You can ignore this two for the quiz 2 only, okay? Don't ignore it for final. Okay, thank you, and good luck tomorrow. Remember which LT you go, huh? Don't come to LT 7 or 11 or whatever. Oh, no, don't go to LT 16, go to LT 11, okay?